All right, welcome everybody, and thank you for tuning in today. You're listening to the Adam Messer Show, and I'm your host, Adam Messer, here on WRUULP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul, and this is the second hour. I'm here with my special guest, Mr. P.T. Bridgeport. Welcome back, sir.
You're welcome, or thank you, or something.
Yeah, and we're talking today about and this is your first time listening. Thank you all if you're catching this on the podcast. This hour, I would encourage you to go back and listen to the first hour, but if this is the one you're catching, PT has a book out called The Moon and I Confer, and you are an author, you're a radio show host like me, and just an all-around kind of an interesting kind of guy. I wanted to lead off this hour. Would you mind reading again from your book?
Sure.
That would be awesome.
Let's see if I can find something a little more contemporary than A Christmas Story.
I like the one that you read last hour. Was about fog. That was really good.
Yeah, well, that was A Christmas. This one is called The Molting.
Okay, great.
Somewhere in the mid-'70s, I impulsively bought a bomber jacket. It was on sale at the time because one end of the collar is semi-permanently bent upwards, making it less fashionable than others that were available then. But it is heavy leather and well-made and has been a reliable companion from that time on. It usually hangs over the chair by the drafting table, a mediocre chair, but a great hanger for frequently used clothing. Well, today I moved it to the closet. The shoes that typically sat beneath the chair also went in the same closet. So too will the long pants that accompanied them, just as soon as they are done sloshing around in the washing machine. Every last one of these items will stay where they are, now deposited, until sometime around Halloween. It is shorts, t-shirt, and sandals time for some time to come. This morning the dawn was overcast and warm, with a little bit of sticky thrown in. The dog didn't mind, but I took note. The afternoon walk will use a well-shaded route, by the mulberry trees or in the forest where the insects lurk. They keep us moving briskly. We'll have showers this afternoon. Not some front moving through, but self-generated, where the moisture rises from the mainland and the marshes and the rivulets, condenses into clouds, and then comes back down. Goodbye, spring. I hope you see me waving in your rear-view mirror. The spring was pretty nice, at least weather-wise. The weather was probably the least of our problems anyway. The problems are persisting, but spring is not. Live oaks spread as much as any other kind, and ours grow non-Spanish mosses and ferns on the more horizontal branches, as well as Spanish ones. The spring brought generous rainfall, perfect for them to molt and prosper. But now they're brown and withering. They'll retreat and hibernate until more rain. With the warmer weather comes the bounty of the sea, and we have participated. The garbage container outside the garage has attained a peculiar odor lately, that of well-aged shrimp shells. We bag them in sealable sacks, but the smell seeps through anyway. I believe that, in enough concentration, shrimp shell odor melts plastic. In the summer heat, the aroma may concentrate enough to kill the coronavirus. Somebody call the White House. My house will contribute a healthy supply if it does. Potential magic bullet solutions aside, shrimp in the evening compensates for many a 100-degree day. In the rhythm of the year, we are past Girl Scout cookie season and into the time of shrimp produce and peanuts boiled and raw. Soon will come the march of the black cherry, summer produce at its height, and then decorative chords. Among the early fruits and vegetables, the peaches are fibrous but sweet, and the corn is small but still pleasing. Pies with local fruit have materialized at our house, and they also compensate for the heat and the humidity. The secret to any local delicacy is to cook it as little as possible. Let the taste of the actual food seep through. The beach is a tantalizing option as well. Since I'm allergic to crowds, I'm usually off it by 10:30 in the morning, or not on it until 6 in the evening. When the beach is crowded, stadium seating rules and King of the Hill tactics apply. That's not for me, and COVID concerns make the unacceptable even more so. Like an easy chair, the beach loses its restorative power when there are multiple occupants. All this assumes that we are to have a summer, but we have some autumn hanging around too. The first tropical storm of the season, Arthur, swung by on its way to pound the Outer Banks. It is now called post-tropical cyclone Arthur. After getting as far north as Virginia's tidewater, it curled south again, though farther out to sea. If it completes the circle, the mosquitoes here better wear anoraks. We haven't had a great influx of those vampire insects yet, no more than usual. However, the population of small lizards who dine on insects has boomed. They sun themselves in the hose reel, lurk in the pine straw, keep watch for the mailman from inside the box. That may mean we're due for a larger insect presence this year. As long as they opt on outdoor living, they're bearable. Early tropical storms to the contrary, I believe that we'll have summer. Summer is our defining season, just as winter defines the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We dress for the occasion, a less complicated process than the Upper Peninsula. We drink gallons of iced tea and other suitable beverages. We move the lawn chair to the garage and sit in a semi-stupor, watching the asphalt emit waves of heat. The cascade of fresh produce and sea bounty will nourish us. There are positives and negatives to summer, like any other season. We'll spend summer like we normally do. We'll abbreviate outdoor activities and sit at home in the air conditioning. We'll cut back our social activities and await the big burst of galas and exhibitions slated for the fall, after the summer heat lessens. We'll wander around town only when we really must, choosing the places we go carefully. In other words, we'll be doing the same thing we've been doing in spring, or should have been. If we do so seriously, maybe we can go maskless later this summer. The masks ruin glowing summer facial tans. Maybe the shops will open again, making the occasional outdoor expedition worthwhile. Maybe a dinner out will become possible, too. Somewhere in the 1200s, a Wessex composer wrote a song about the cuckoo singing loudly in summer. It's been around ever since. The mockingbird sings more sweetly than the cuckoo, and we have far more summer than Wessex could ever dream. Maybe this will be the year somebody puts it to music.
I think that's a good one. When did you write that one?
That was the spring.
Last year?
Last year? I think last year.
It had to be with the pandemic and all. I was wondering, if you had written it like early spring or early summer. Like late spring, early summer type.
Well,
because in Savannah, like right now, this is like summer weather for some places in the country.
The Hurricane Arthur had just steamed by, or Tropical Depression Arthur, whatever it was, so we can probably fix it there.
I have no idea.
Probably April, May, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. So like kind of mid-spring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting how we have these little rituals and things that we enjoy doing, and like you were talking about putting away your bomber jacket that you'd had.
Yeah.
I bought a bomber jacket. I got it for $10 at Goodwill. It was like a $600 jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that jacket. That's like my favorite. Like that's the one I wear during winter, and same thing. Like like I won't wear a jacket again until probably next January.
Well, that's kind of the way you do things here, and I'm good with it.
Mm-hmm.
when we both reached retirement age, my wife and I decided that we were too old for Four Seasons, and we agreed on which one to get rid of. So here is where we came.
you have nice and you have hot.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I'd rather have hot than cold.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to fight the ice weather.
You don't have to shovel humidity.
Right. You just have to wipe it away.
Yeah.
So,
much easier.
yeah. And Darlene and Terry Dremel, they said they really enjoyed that reading. So,
well, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
Yeah. That's something I think is important too. Is obviously you wrote that from a first person perspective, your perspective,
Right.
but you had your audience in mind when you're writing, and you're sharing these stories. So you craft your story in a way that is appealing, it's descriptive. What are some of the things that go through your mind as you're writing, because you want to share this feeling, this emotion of what's going on with them? How do you come about that feeling?
You hit on the key word, share.
Mm-hmm.
These things that I would love to believe that I'm such a unique intellect that I can come up with things that other people never thought of. That's nonsense.
I love that you just said that, because the older I get, and I know it sounds funny, but the older I get, I don't like to consider myself to be an intellectual. I like to consider myself to be a learner. Like to learn, but I'm constantly learning. Yeah.
Right. And like I said, I've been in Savannah for 11 years now. I'm still learning.
Right.
But I'm looking at things that we share together.
Mm-hmm.
The two that I read are more things you think about at rest, or when you can contemplate. I've got stuff in there about hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
I've got stuff in there about some local events that weren't particularly happy. One of my favorite stories is, 2-3 years ago, we actually had a snowfall.
Mm-hmm.
And listening and watching people who had lived in Savannah for most of their life deal with a snowfall, the delight when it first started coming down,
Mm-hmm.
translating into driving on ice just like they do up north. I could be very sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Virginia, which is far enough north to have snow and ice, and not far enough north for the highway people to prepare enough for it.
Yeah.
So,
I grew up in Cincinnati.
I'm real familiar with that.
Yeah, I grew up in Cincinnati where they had salt trucks, right?
Yeah.
And then we lived in northern Kentucky for a couple of years right before I graduated high school, and they had sand trucks. They didn't have salt trucks, so they used sand.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, like, it's supposed to be better for the roads and environment, stuff like that. It doesn't melt the ice as quickly.
No, not at all.
It just provides grit, and that even that is not. I don't know. It's just funny because that's part of the thing. Like down here, sometimes you have these torrential rains.
Yeah.
I never had any rain like that in Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have some downpours, but not where the droplets were like as big as a watermelon. Boom.
Yeah. That's it's always time marches on.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, when I was living in the north, you were supposed to spread kitty litter on your sidewalk because that would take care of it. And then they changed the kitty litter, and that made things worse.
I'll tell you
so
what I
had to
used.
Keep up with it.
We didn't have salt. We couldn't buy any salt. There was no salt at the stores, right?
Yeah.
I had they have ice cream salt, right? And I had a box of ice cream salt, and I used that like on our porch and our steps to just melt that part away, But yeah, I remember my kids they were so happy about it. It's already that time. I can't believe it. Everybody, you're tuning in today to WRUU LP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. And my special guest today is PT Bridgeport. And let's talk about the book, the publishing side of it. So can you give like a little background with you and Lee Rich and how the book kind of came to be and how you decided to go with her for publishing, and can you give a little background with that? Because I know you do the radio show with her. You all been friends,
right?
But that's a big difference between like deciding to have a book and then going through and publishing it. And like you said, it took like a year to edit.
Yeah. Well, it goes back even before that.
Yeah.
Lee and I are members of a small writers group.
Okay.
You may not know this about Lee, but she does written work herself as well. A lot of technical stuff, a lot of academic stuff, but some stuff that isn't. So that's how we originally met. And that led to me finding out about WRUU, and that led me to start with my Saturday program, Moon. And after that, I was invited by Brian Renner to join Beyond the Liner Notes. And then I took over the show from Brian, or maybe Brian handed it to me on a silver platter. I like to think of it that way.
Yeah.
And Lee joined me on that. And
Brian is a really nice guy too.
Oh,
really nice fellow.
He's terrific. He's terrific. And then Lee asked me to join her on her show, Listening to Literature, and that's worked out pretty well. Even though I have huge holes in my knowledge of what literature is. But again, it's been a learning experience. I've gotten exposed to a lot of things that I might not have. At any rate, it occurred to me that after about 2 years that maybe all these essays put together might be a book. And so I wanted WRUU to participate in some way, including being rewarded for the participation. It seemed to me the best way to do that was to keep it all local. So I pitched the book to Lee, and she liked the idea. And I set off to do it. I started doing my little editing, and it turned out not to be so little. And by the way, Lee is a fantastic editor.
She's really nice. Yeah, she's super nice.
She does an incredible job. And so that was part of the process too. One of the bennies, if you want to get published, use Monty Chichiri, because you get dynamite editing right up front.
And it's so crazy because I'm gonna put the mic on here. Bill Cooper is in the house. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you very much. Good to see you always, Adam. PT, I got to tell you, I listened to you the other day with Lee, and you just started to play, and you said a little thing about it, was the tremolo, Silence is Golden.
Ah, yes.
A couple of years ago, I've heard that song when it came out.
Right.
And a couple of years ago, I listened to it once, and then again, I watched the video on it, and I'm saying, those are some of the best harmonies I ever heard in any song.
Right.
They nailed it. And you had said that Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons had written it and did it.
Originally, it was the B-side of one of their big hits.
Yeah.
And Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons do a perfectly wonderful job, but I like the harmony for the tremolos
You
better.
can't compare it. Again, Frankie Valli did some great stuff.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
taking anything away from him, but
No.
Well, you were dead right when I said, and I jumped out of the car after I was done. You were done talking about it. I said, Mary Ann, listen to this. P.T. Bridgeport agrees with me.
Now, does that mean that Mary Ann thinks differently, or
Of me from now on, yeah, she
okay.
will. Anyway, it's a pleasure meeting you. I've heard you many a time with Lee.
Well,
and just a pleasure
I'm
meeting you.
I'm glad to hear that, and
You're very interesting, and I just wanted to know. Now I have a face with the voice.
oh yeah,
I
Very good.
actually said to PT, I was like, Bill Cooper's probably going to be here about 4:30. I said, and I guarantee he's probably going to come and sit in with us. And
Well, I'll stay a few minutes. I don't like.
Oh, you're always welcome.
Bursting in. I appreciate that.
No, you're always welcome. There's sometimes
Fine
like
with
when
me.
I have somebody on the radio, like I can't do that. But I love when you come in and talk, because I mean, like this to me, like I don't do this because I'm getting paid. I do this because I'm having fun time with it, and when we can do this kind of thing, it's more. I think it's
I'm
more
glad.
engaging,
Thank
and
you.
exciting.
And
You know,
PT and
enjoy
I
it.
get paid. I don't know why they're not paying you, Adam. You have a
I'm
good
not
show.
quite. I'm still at that amateur level.
oh no.
I'm still at that amateur level. So yeah, we're talking. Bill, this is PT's book. Check this out. You actually might be interested in reading something like that, because he's got a bunch of different essays that he's written, and they're anecdotal, and some are comedic, some are like relatable to aggravating situations, I guess. And as well as,
Some aggravating, some
yeah,
not.
just kind of like life
little wine and
happens.
beef in it.
little wine and beef. Bill's got a segment on his show called "If It's Wine or Beef," and when you make a complaint, like we were talking today about tourists taking pictures out of the window of their car, it's like, is that a legitimate beef, or is that a wine?
Just a wine.
Or
yeah.
what's the other one? It's like a
It's a beef. One's a beef. If just say
wine.
you
or
didn't
beef.
like that. You gave an example. Tourists
Right.
hanging out the window, and you're going on about it. There's 3 categories. It's a wine. Come on, there's bigger things in
Right.
the world. Knock it off. Let them have their fun. And they help paying our taxes, so be
Right.
nice to them.
Oh yeah.
The second thing is a beef. Well, okay, I get it. I see why it bothers you, but, it's not real bad. But the best thing is a legitimate beef. Someone said, yeah, that bothers me too. So we have me and Chad who
They
run our
roasted
show.
me a couple times on their show.
There's a little bit of connectivity here too. Can I tell you? a
Yeah,
story?
please.
Like I said, I spent some years in northern Connecticut, and that turned me into a college hockey fan.
Okay.
And I'm particularly fond.
Wait, hold on. Before you go any further, PT, would you be willing to participate in an official version of Wine or Beef with judges Bill Cooper and Adam Messer?
And if you're going to judge, you have to promise to have no honesty, no integrity.
That's
To
right.
be a judge. I mean, this is how we judge our
so-
peers.
Do you want to
I
take
have,
a shot?
I have found that most people who judge have no honesty and integrity.
That's good. You'll like it. It's
Perfectly
fun.
fine.
So are you good with doing the Wine or Beef?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. All right.
You want to do that now, or
Yeah.
Okay,
And the
let's
rules
go for
are
it.
that the judges have to be silent while you're
You
talking.
have a minute to state
have a
your
minute.
case, and
Okay.
then you have to be silent while we judge you.
All right, so
That's the only rules.
oh,
We're
I
good?
get,
And it
I
doesn't
get-
have to make sense. It doesn't have to be something really earth-shaking. It can be something like lint. Anything you want
anything that I want.
Anything.
Okay.
that kind of bugs you.
Anything that bugs me. Okay. I have discovered, since you gave me the idea, I have discovered that if you have a dog, I don't care what kind of dog you have, but if you have a dog and you send your wash through the washer and you send the wash through the dryer and you pick the lint out of the lint catcher, you will have a piece of lint that would be worthy of any winter jacket in the world. This is a great stuffing for winter jackets, and I think I could have filled 5 or 6 winter jackets easily just in the last couple months. Now, my beef is, or whine, if you will, is that I cannot find a way to connect this brilliant idea with the winter jacket makers. I think writing to Duluth or LL Bean or somebody like that would be perfectly useless, but I can't find the right belly button to push, and that frustrates me.
I'll let you go first because this is your game, Bill. You're the inventor of the
I
game.
could give it easy, any category, any of the three.
Yeah.
I just tell you quickly, I found a good use for it. I love my campfires in my backyard. I'll have them if it's under 2 degrees out or if it's 2 degrees out. I love my campfires. And that lint that we get out of the dry, and we don't have an animal in the house, so it's all, people lint. And that lint is a good fire starter. So it does have a purpose if you can't make a coat out of it.
I'm afraid it might be... They don't let me near dangerous things anymore. So.
I'll call this just a beef. I understand that you say it's a shame to throw it out. I get that, and However, have you made any attempt to market it?
Well, that's the problem. Who do I market it to?
Well, again,
I'm not going to call like LL Bean and say, "Hey, do you need any stuffing for your jackets?" That's silly.
But tomorrow, Adam's going to, and they're going to buy it from him.
Well,
they're going to pay him for that idea.
Okay. Adam.
No, the ad exec that's listening somewhere off of the internet is like, oh, that's a great idea.
I can see your new bomber jacket.
Right.
So, just a regular beef. Go ahead there, Judge Adam.
I'm at a loss because I don't feel like it's a beef per se, but it's not a wine either. I feel like it's just kind of like not a legitimate beef either. I lean more towards a beef because it's like kind of like, oh, where do I go with it or whatever. I literally thought you were going to say like this is the beef that I thought you were going to say, but I was had to think about like listening and hey, hold on, let him finish and think about it. But in my mind, when you were talking, I thought you were going to say no matter how many times you wash and dry your clothes, if you have a dog in the house, there's always going to be dog hair on your clothes.
Oh, I take that for granted. I'm perfectly fine with it.
Do you have one dog?
Only one.
One? Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a long-haired dog, I guess, right?
Carolina dog, short-haired but extremely sheddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll give you a beef for that one.
All right.
And see, and this game is so much fun. Bill came up with the idea, and it's a great way to sabotage and roast people who are unsuspecting. They're like, yeah, come play this like innocent game with me. It's like wine or beef. And then you could say something like, for example, man, you know what? I wish people would not run red lights. It's so dangerous and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, it sounds like you're whining.
Yeah, if you have to get somewhere in a hurry and you can make it through, who are you hurting?
Like, don't ask Bill Cooper about bicycles.
Oh, okay.
No, Bill, please do. This is your opening.
No, I have my own thought. I'm out on the islands, Bill.
Yeah.
And especially during the COVID period, there are lots of people who think that they can bicycle on the few roads we have out there without regard to traffic, and that sometimes gets inconvenient.
All I say is, let me know, seriously, and this will be years before you see any biker give a signal.
Huh.
And they have the same rules as a car on the road.
That's right.
And half the bikes I see at night have no lights on them. It's hard to see them. I don't want to hit them. I do not want to hit them. But, play by the rules.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
And give a signal. Try it. It's unique, but it lets me know what you might be planning on doing.
I'd be happy if most of the cars did.
Well, you're right, exactly. About half the cars don't.
Yeah.
But none of the bikes do.
None
Almost
of the bikes
zero.
do.
And every biker I talk to says, oh, I signal. I said, well, you're the one I've missed.
Yeah.
Right,
You got to be kidding me.
Of course. The motorcyclists, I'm talking about not bicyclists, but motorcyclists. Yesterday I saw about 30 bikers go through a red light on Ogeechee Road in Savannah. And they held traffic up while they were doing it. And,
no, they don't care.
They don't care.
Yeah.
And it was a large group of people, like a large group of bikers or whatever. And, that's something that I get it. Like if you've got, your group or whatever, and you want to keep up. Same thing with bicyclists. I've seen a bunch of bicyclists taking that alternate 17 route over in Bloomingdale. Like they'll go through and they'll hold up a light. And it's like you are on a road. You have to follow and obey traffic laws just like a car does or a truck. So I'll give you a legitimate beef, Bill, on that one.
Well, that wasn't even it.
I know. I'm just giving you a legitimate beef.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you one.
Okay.
So
here's a good one. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ice cream. There's different types of ice cream. There's different value. I mean, it costs a lot for real good ice cream, and it should.
Yeah.
I used to make ice cream. I'm from New England, too, and I made ice cream, and there's basically 4 ingredients in basic vanilla ice cream. It's light cream, heavy cream, vanilla, and the good vanilla extract, not the imitation, and sugar, and that's in a pinch of salt. That's the only ingredients. Mm-hmm. Every time I've made it, I mean, people have just absolutely loved it, and it's not that hard to do, and it costs a lot. However, don't call it the same thing. That some of that stuff they sell in stores, and it tastes like cold lard. It doesn't even taste like ice cream. That's my beef. Stop calling it the same thing, because real ice cream
it's like an ice
would
cream
knock
product.
you out. Would just knock. It is so good. I mean, it's like the difference between homemade bread and sliced white bread.
Right.
Right.
Like
That's all.
cheese
That's my
versus a
beef.
cheese product.
Stop calling it ice cream. I know ice cream.
Yeah.
Well, they did that.
Do you give them a beef or wine?
Oh yeah,
or
now you're the judge, so I have to listen to the verdict.
I'm contemplating, because I know they did that.
Yeah.
They used to have ice milk and ice yogurt and
gelato type stuff.
Yeah, except gelato's expensive.
Right.
No, I cannot eat ice cream in the same volume that I used to, but I am passionately fond of it. And look forward to those times that I can. So I think this is a legitimate beef.
I think that's one of the reasons why Leopold's is so good, because
it's
they
good
make
ice
authentic ice cream.
It's good ice cream.
Yep.
Yeah, and President Jimmy Carter, his favorite ice cream, from what I've been told by a legitimate source, is Leopold's pecan ice cream.
That's all I'm eating from now on, because look how old Jimmy is. He's still ticking.
Jimmy.
I'm telling you.
I'm going for the pecan.
I'll give you a legitimate beef, too.
There have been times when I've been this close to driving to the airport because Broughton Street was so backed up.
Leopold's is going... I saw that they are going to have the small containers in some... some stores soon. So I don't know if it's out there or not yet, but I know you can take a container home from there. So like if you go, you can get a container, and you can go onto their website, and I think you can get some of it shipped to you. I don't know how they do it with the shipping or whatever. In Cincinnati, they had Grater's ice cream, which is similar. Like they make real authentic ice cream or whatever, and you can get Grater's ice cream at Kroger's. Like the Kroger stores or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's the same kind of thing. Like, growing up, like we had, it's like, you have, the difference when you're having something that's authentic and you the real deal versus getting something that's like an imitation. And, what was that old phrase that said, highly replicated, never duplicated,
right?
Something like that.
That was from an old ad. You're right.
Yeah,
highly imitated, never duplicated.
There we go. That's what it was.
I forget what it was.
Yeah, but you could tell the deal from a knockoff, and it's cool. We've got to do the station ID stuff, y'all. So let me play the. This is how we pay the bills, y'all. So.
Philharmonic has announced a dynamic new concert series for spring 2021. Monthly indoor concerts with a masked, socially distanced audience will feature various ensembles of the Philharmonic at either the Metal Building at the Kehoe Ironworks downtown or Skidaway Island United Methodist Church locations. These concerts will culminate in the season finale outdoor concert of the full Philharmonic on June 27th at Trustees Garden. More information can be found at savannahphilharmonic.org.
What does it mean when we say that WRUU is a community radio station? It doesn't just mean that we invite the community to create programming. And it doesn't just mean that we are a voice for the community. It also means that we are counting on the community to keep us going, and you are the community. Almost all of our modest budget comes from small annual or monthly donations from listeners like you. You get to enjoy our community-focused programming because many others have stepped forward to do their part. Now do your part by joining our community of listener donors. Go to WRUU.org right now and make a one-time or monthly donation, and thank you for supporting Savannah's community radio station, 107.5 FM.
Yes, it is that time again to support WRUU through your vote in the Connect Savannah Best of Savannah poll. It's easy. Go to Connect Savannah at www.connectsavannah.com and click on the Go Vote image. Read the instructions and then scroll down and click on the image labeled Media. Type in WRUU in both the Best Local Radio Station and Best Talk Radio Station categories and click the Vote button for each. Thank you for listening to and supporting WRUU in the Connect Savannah Best of Savannah poll. This portion of WRUU Savannah Soundings programming is provided by listeners and by Brighter Day Natural Foods. Brighter Day Natural Foods has been serving Savannah's healthy food and supplement needs since 1978. It is located at the corner of Bull Street and Park Avenue. They have available online ordering and curbside delivery, and now a walk-up window for smoothies, juices, and sandwiches from the deli. They are open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and 12 to 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. More information can be found at brighterdayfoods.com. From our cobblestone streets to our stately homes, discover Savannah's maritime history and what makes Savannah, Savannah. One of the hidden secrets of Savannah is the Gardens of the Ships of the Sea Museum. Picnic here and enjoy our complimentary Wi-Fi. More information can be found at shipsofthesea.org.
You are listening to WRU.
All right, and we are back, everybody. Thank you. And, this is just a side note for everybody listening. If you're listening live or on the podcast or whatever, WRUU is it's a nonprofit station, and we literally are funded by our listeners. So even if you have $1 or, if you have a larger contribution that you can help us out with, go on to WRUU.org, and there's a donate button up there. We appreciate any level of donation. So thank you. And we can't do it without you. So thank you very much. So we are back. This is the second half of the second hour today with author P.T. Bridgeport.
Yeah, they just brought in the relief pitcher, so you can...
We have Mr. Bill Cooper in the house as well, who has his Savannah at Night show up next. It's at 5 to 6:30?
Yep.
And then also, just as an aside, we're talking about your book today,
right?
PT, and we were just talking about the wonderful lady Lee Rich. She's such a gem. I just really like Lee so much. She's bright and she's witty and she's
very likable.
Very
she's a nice
person. Yeah. Bill Cooper. We were talking about this off air, but Bill Cooper has a comedy show that he does every week on Wednesdays, live on his Facebook page, called Postcards from Lowell, because Bill's from Lowell. Right? Lowell, Massachusetts?
Lowell, Massachusetts.
There's several others, but I had never heard of them.
Yeah, it's just like Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah. Like, did you know there's a Cincinnati somewhere else? I don't know where, but the only one I know of is Ohio. But it's a little 20-minute show. It reminds me of the skit comedy, like the sketch comedy type stuff. I was thinking, back in the day, like the Tonight Show with like Johnny Carson, the little skit comedy type stuff.
I'll go back even further than this.
Yeah, please do.
It kind of reminds me of Sid Caesar.
Oh, great.
Because you had Sid Caesar, but then you had Imogen Coco. And Mrs. Cooper plays a part in the show as
Mary
well.
Ann. Yeah.
Mary Ann is the director. right? And I am the co-producer with Chad. But Chad promoted himself to executive co-producer. And he had me sign his contract. He had me sign his contract.
Oh, good.
He gets paid straight time if he shows up, time and a half if he takes the day off.
Okay.
And I signed that.
Oh,
And afterwards, I figured a friend gave it to me. That's a good deal, and it was for him.
no.
Wow.
Wow. But
That's one of our gigs.
If
time and a half for not being there.
right.
If you're worried about salaries, you're in a different part of radio than I am.
Oh, well, none of us has ever collected because Mary Ann's the treasurer. Try to get a nickel.
That makes great sense.
Yep.
Yeah, so every week, PT Bill has like a story that he talks about, like from his youth.
True story when I was a kid.
Right.
Something that happened.
And he inevitably there's some kind of lead-in or tie-in to the skit of the day or whatever. So like it's like a true story, and there's something funny that happened during the true story, and then there's the skit. Right, and the skit is completely fictional. Right,
it's not. It's all improv.
It's all improv.
We have no. We have
Right.
no script. We are doing it. Well, Chad's terrific at improv, and I've done it too. So we work off each other very, very well. And whoever calls in knows that too. They'll throw something out, and we'll just bounce all over it.
Yeah. So the first part is a true story, but it's a kind of funny, relatable type true story.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes into the wacky, crazy. A lot of times it's Chad being set up with a crazy date or something
Yes.
like that, right?
Yeah.
And
Like Ooga Lee, spelled UGA. Ooga Lee.
Ooga-lee.
Wanted to
Oh,
go out with
okay. So, yeah, but then they have the postcards from Lowell.com is the website for the YouTube channel, so like people can watch it. And Bill, you just said April the 1st?
April 1st, last year was the first one we did.
So you're coming up on the first anniversary?
Right, so the 31st will be Wednesday this year of March, so it'll be the day before April 1st.
So it'll be a pre-April Fool's Day.
Yeah, well, it's April Fool's every day with me and Chad.
Yeah, we were one of PT's essays that he read. He was talking about changing of the seasons, pretty much.
Changing of the season. Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes place, like in April or May.
I was listening to you coming in. It was, it's just truly interesting. Again, I spent most of my life up north in the snow. I worked in it.
Right.
I worked outdoors in the hot, in the heat and the cold. And so I determined when I first started working outside, and I love being outside anyway, still do, that if I'm going to complain about the weather, I have no business doing this job. It's going to make me miserable. So I don't care. It could have been 4 below zero in the wind, and I'm delivering mail.
Yeah.
It could have been 98 degrees, and you're dying of thirst walking around. And I said I will never complain about it because I have to be out in it. But I did find, just briefly, the ones that complain the most about the weather are the ones that are out 6 minutes a day. They go from their car to the air-conditioned office, to the air-conditioned mall, back to the air-conditioned home or heated, and they complain, oh, it's brutal out there. All 6 minutes were brutal, weren't they? Anyway, that's
we got to do
story.
the station ID, y'all. So Bill has this thing on his show where when we get to the soul part, we all kind of sing it in chorus. Okay.
Ooh.
So I'm going to do the announcement, and then we'll just kind of we'll play along with it.
But
Actually,
I like the
Bill,
way
would
PT
you mind?
says it.
Yeah, I do
mind.
too. Actually, Bill, PT, would you mind saying that?
You say it,
Oh,
and then
right.
we'll,
and we'll
time for
we'll
it.
chime in.
You
with
get the voice.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. This is WRUULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, and WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul.
And that's Bill's shtick. I love it. So one of the things because all three of us, I'm going in my third year here in June on the radio.
Mm-hmm. My fourth coming up.
Your anniversary is like a year before mine. Like at the same time.
June will be my fourth year.
Yeah, mine is in June, and you've been on the radio since like 2017, also, right?
Right, November of 2017.
November 2017, and there's Chadster. But you can't come in because we got the 3 people rule.
Hey, Chad,
Sorry,
excuse me
Chad,
one
but you
second.
can yell out.
This is PT Bridgeport.
Yeah,
he has a
PT.
show in the afternoon. He's terrific. And I just wanted you to meet. This is the one we were just yakking about. Chad.
Chad's. Yeah. Hey, Chad.
Understand you've had some interesting dates.
Days, yeah.
Dates.
Oh, dates. Oh, yeah. That's to say the least, but I've survived all of them so far.
So far.
Good for you.
Wait till you meet Von Helga.
That's an accomplishment. I remember that from my single days.
Surviving, yeah.
Oh, we got
That's
a message. We got a message coming in from Darlene and Terry Dremel. It says, "Sounded great, guys. Barbershop Quartet." Now the Chad's here.
Oh,
You want to do can we just do the soul part real quick as a quartet?
Yeah.
All right, 1,
Community
2,
radio was
3.
global.
I'll go high.
Oh, they're typing now. Oh, Chad, pull up a
know,
chair.
pal,
over here. Go ahead.
closest I'll ever get.
What are you guys doing today?
We're having a good time.
We're fine. This is fine. This is, as I said, when I heard PT on the radio, I said, I got to meet him. I love the show with you and Lee, and I just have to meet you.
One of the things, this is what I want to ask, and since you're here, Chad, you can answer this too. Oh, wait a minute. It says, "Do it again." Wow, our dog is howling. All right. 3,
Okay, I'll shut
I
up.
thought it was
then.
an agent wanting to sign us.
1. Soul. Am I going to just do it by
Community
myself?
radio
All
with
right.
global
Oh my gosh, I'm dying here.
Only on community radio. Community entertainment.
We
They
will,
said too funny. Love it.
we will never replace the Pips.
I'm telling you. Good thing we can
Did you
keep our
ever
day
wanna be one of
jobs.
them?
Right.
I did. My brother did. We wanted to be one of the Pips.
Yeah,
Just
why?
across the
Oh,
stage.
man. Yeah, this is one of the things
that
I
would've
love
been-
about doing a radio show here, because there is no format. It's like, oh, you should do XYZ robotically, So
9.
Yeah,
We
nice.
WRU in general is not good at robotics. That's just not our deal.
well,
That's the beauty of it. There's so many different
Absolutely.
shows. I mean,
Absolutely.
seriously,
Yeah.
so many different
There's
types
like
of music,
60
different types of
something-
show. It's great.
different like radio hosts and personalities, and
They won't let me have my own show.
you're on the greatest show that you could be on, though.
Yeah, I don't need my own show.
Postcards from Lowell.
Right. I have that gig.
I mean, like, you get to ham it up every week with Bill Cooper
It's fun.
and Marianne.
It's fun. It's fun
And I think I think he just committed a wine or beef.
Ooh.
Oh, my
I don't
wife-
even know who it is because my pal has a big beard. I have no idea who this is.
Yeah. I had
Who is this
What
young
does he look
vixen
like?
of a man?
Who does he look like now? He looks like some, one of those.
I don't know. He had a hairband in yesterday, so
Yeah. I have one in the car. I'll get it.
you should wear that. Like,
Yeah,
keep the locks back. So we kind of just put you on wine or beef. You're
I'm a walking wine.
a walking wine.
cast.
All right, then pour us a glass of your wine.
Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead.
You don't
Okay.
want me to do that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you? What would your show be about if you did a show though, Chad? Because here's your chance to pitch.
It would pretty much simply be like, I don't know. And I'm trying to find the answer. And I will have anyone of any political or philosophical ideology, it doesn't matter how stupid or crazy, and be like, I don't know, maybe this person could tell me.
And that would work great because you're so good at shooting down people with good ideas.
Yeah.
Oh God! Shots fired. PT, did you see this coming? I had no
It's gonna be
idea.
contentious tonight, boys.
Well, if you don't know anything and you're good at being critical, clearly you want to host a classical music show.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I'm all about the symphonies. And
I can tell
actually
that
love
just by
classical
looking
music.
at you.
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
I'm well versed in
Look.
the symphonies.
Well, that's just it.
Sympathies.
You don't have to
Wanna
be.
show
All you
you.
have to
You
do
know
is
Symphony
have
for
to
the
say-
Devil.
I do enjoy classical music, but I don't
But
know.
but if you're running a program, all you have to say is, that was Shostakovich and his Symphony Number 4. Next up, we have some more Shostakovich.
I have over
and Symphony
I have
Number
over
5.
100 in my music program here. I have like over 100 different symphonies on my phone that I can listen to, and I love classical music, but I am not an aficionado though. I
They
just
wouldn't
like
let me
listening to
do it because I can't pronounce the names. It would be Beethoven and Bach.
Well, see,
What
that
that-
would be like the
And-
ice cream version of classical music. You know, is it real or not real?
That's again. That's the point. Nobody goes in to listen to the host. All the host does is announce the music and then puts it on and takes a nap or whatever.
I get a bow out right now. PT, excuse me. Very nice to meet you, and
Yeah.
I'd like to buy one of these. So see me before you go.
And I will get one to you, Bill.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
You can, hey Bill, you can borrow mine because I'm not going to have a chance to read it during this week. But you can borrow mine. Yeah, but he'll get you one. But you can take it if you want to read it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just bring it back.
And yes, I will autograph.
Yeah, because
for
Bill
you,
is an avid reader.
Okay.
So yeah, so there you go. That's pretty cool. I think that was a lot of fun. I like when Bill comes in and chit chats and.
Yeah. Bill doesn't remember, but I've met him at a couple of WRU functions, and seems like he's always on. He's always a real good guy.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. You know, I've really enjoyed talking with you the last couple hours, PT. We've got about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask you earlier about with storytelling, and then we were talking about relationships. We've kind of been like
all over the
wide
place.
range today, right? What is it for you? I know you said the sharing part was the connection
on the essays. Yes.
Yeah. What is it for you for storytelling, and what defines a good story for you that you enjoy?
Wow. It can be any number of things if I'm reading something.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been exposed to a lot of things on the show that Lee hosts,
Mm-hmm.
and it's broadened my appreciation. When I'm trying to tell a story, it kind of depends on what my whole idea is. When you said that I mentioned I was working on a book, I'm still working on it. It's something that's been in my mind over the years. I've come up with this fictional country in Central America, and it works just about like this country does, except it's off by about 5 degrees. And that 5 degrees makes all the difference. And first I came up with a country, and then I came up with some people, and then I came up with some features, and then I built a city in my mind, and then I built characters, and worked basically from the ground up. And now I'm to the point where I know the characters well enough to tell stories about them. And that becomes part of the book, too.
Now, is this contemporary fiction?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
yeah, because it's very similar with...
It's impending fiction.
Yeah, it's very similar with speculative fiction, because often I know writers that will world build, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
And they'll character build, and they'll...
I didn't feel up to being a pale imitation of J.R.R. Tolkien.
Right.
So I'm just dealing with one city, one fictional city and one fictional country, and one person in a sticky situation, which is where all the other people come in. But when you're doing that, first off, it's not fiction, or it's not all fiction, because you can't make up stuff for something that broad. You're going to wind up using some of your own thoughts and ideas and experiences, and some of the neat things that have happened to you and some of the not so neat things that have happened to you. But if you're going to write a novel, you're still telling an awful lot about yourself. And so it becomes a process of saying, this stuff happened to me. What does it mean to me? Okay, and once I determine that, what can I get people to tell people about it to get them to share it or maybe agree with it or maybe sympathize with it or maybe tell me I'm full of beans or whatever. So it gets to be a really complicated process.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great point. And we need to wrap it up. Thank you, PT, so much.
You're quite welcome.
I've had a blast talking with you today. And last but not least, your book name is
The Moon and I Confer.
And that's PT Bridgeport.
Right.
The website that they can go to?
Montechuchiri, I guess.
I'll put it in the link on the podcast.
Okay.
But that's
when the Moon Sings, my Saturday show has a Facebook site.
Okay, great.
And I have it posted there.
Perfect.